And you will see, during the time of IBB, the Structural Adjustment Program and the Belt tightening policies, the foreign exchange, the regulations started fully during IBB's period. And also, it went on for the regulation, Shagari's era, Obasanjo's presidency, Jonathan's presidency, and of course, Buhari's presidency. We saw gradual pauperization of the Nigerians. The poverty level continuously increases, gradually there. But the only difference with this administration is that it came more radical. It is massive and sudden. It was not gradual. Listen to me. It was not gradual like the previous administration. It has its own advantages, this radical position. It shows a change from what we have been doing. We've been suffering gradually and smiling, but this time around, it came out fully to show that we must get it right, because we cannot continue. This is my own opinion. The main challenge, finally, yes. The main challenge, or the main challenges, and of course, disappointment of the majority of Nigerians are the seemingly insensitive or insensitivity to the massive impact of the government policy. Poverty and insecurity are real, and we all know. And we believe probably the second half of this administration will make a difference. Otherwise, I can see the coalition working hard. Thank you, God bless.
Former Chief of Army Staff Tuku Buratai describing Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration, and everything he said about Bola Ahmed Tinubu is nothing but the truth. The suffering experience under Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration is fast, swift, and quickly. Unlike what we experienced under President Muhammadu Buhari, it took some years before Nigerians began to experience hardship under President Muhammadu Buhari. But under Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, we quite did not really know we were suffering because life was considerably fair then. But under Bola Ahmed Tinubu, from the very beginning of his administration till now, Nigerians have known no peace. It has been one suffering to another. It has been one inflation to another. The price of commodities in the market has skyrocketed. It has gone beyond the reach of the average man. But who is speaking? Tuku Buratai, the former chief of staff of the Nigerian military. Tuku Buratai served as a military chief under President Muhammadu Buhari, one of the worst administrations we have experienced in this country. And under his leadership as Chief of Army Staff, it was worse. There was nothing professional about the Nigerian army. Under his regime, we experienced extrajudicial killing in the southeast and in some parts of the north, especially Abuja, with a Shiite movement. The Nigerian military under his regime carried out extrajudicial killing with reckless abandon. And of course, his tenure was also riddled with massive corruption. But here he is today, giving advice, talking about another fair and wasteful administration in Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Sometimes I can't help but just admire the audacity of these northern politicians. They are talking like they've never had an opportunity to rule this country before. We are talking about the northern politicians that were in charge of the affairs of this country 8 years out of the 10 years of APC Misrule. What exactly did they do differently? They did absolutely nothing. Apart from being in charge of the 8 years out of 10 years of APC, the northern politicians have had the highest way to power since the independence of Nigeria. We are talking about a region that have had over 30 years of uninterrupted rule in this country. Not just rule, but misrule, because they contributed hugely to the destruction of Nigeria and the Nigeria economy. These were people that had access to the nation's resources when there was oil boom. These were people that had access to the nation's resources when there were plenty resources, but they did not plan for the future of the upcoming generation. But here they are, giving hot take about politics, about what a sitting president ought to have done better in order to make life better for Nigerians. However, this is in no way me trying to water down the effect of everything he's saying. Whatever he said about Bola Ahmed Tinubu is in line, is the real fact. The suffering under Bola Ahmed Tinubu is real quick and fast. It is such that we have never experienced in the history of this country. What we are experiencing under Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration is as a result of ineptitude, incompetence, having people who do not understand governance to be in charge of our resources, to be in charge of the policies that will shape the future of this country. What we are experiencing in Nigeria is the reason why everywhere many Nigerians are coming out to condemn the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Recently, Afenifere also blasts Bola Ahmed Tinubu for everything that is happening in Nigeria. The Yoruba social cultural group take a dig at Bola Ahmed Tinubu in his 2 years in office. They released a report that shows that every human development and social political index has regressed since Bola Ahmed Tinubu came into office in May 2023. They accuse the president of turning the promise of renewed hope to a nightmare of regressing hopelessness and despair. The Yoruba social cultural group accused Bola Ahmed Tinubu of not taking responsibility for all the failures that we are experiencing in this country. It reads, rather than taking full responsibility for the unmitigated suffering inflicted on Nigerians in the past 2 years on the account of his wrong policies choice and wasteful spending, the Tinubu administration has engaged in massive propaganda, claiming false successes and shifting blames to global and historical factors, and showing scant empathy for ordinary Nigerians. Afenifere Tuku they have the full privilege and right to attack Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration because it has been nothing but colossal failure. But just like Afenifere said, Bola Ahmed Tinubu has failed to take responsibility over his failed administration. Rather than addressing the root cause of what has led us to where we are today, they are engaging in propaganda. The president celebrated his 2 years in office and released over 40 achievements of what the president has done. All the things the president listed out were mere propaganda. None of them are geared towards alleviating the suffering and plight of ordinary Nigerians. None of them were geared towards affecting the life of Nigerians. None of them were even geared towards addressing the insecurity in Nigeria. But in all of this, the president was proud to announce that he has achieved a major milestone in his 2 years in office. That is what is more aggravating about Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration. The rascality, the impunity at which they carry out whatever they are doing. That is the reason why when these northerners come out to talk about the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I sometimes align with them. I sometimes agree with them. Whatever it will take to bring the failure of this administration to the fore is welcome, but they should not just stop at talking. Of course, there are talks of a coalition. Nigerians at this point need a coalition to unseat Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But that coalition should not be a northern agenda. It should not be a northern propaganda. It should not be an avenue to install another northern president. Nigerians do not need a northern president at this point in time. Yes, it's a turn of the south. A southern president should continue from where Bola Ahmed Tinubu will stop in 2027. Not just a southern president, but one who understands what it means to rule a nation like Nigeria. One who understands what it means to manage the resources of this country. The problem we are having in this country is not lack of resources. The problem we are having in this country is not lack of human capital. The problem we are having in this country is management of resources. This is what has brought us to where we are today. Nigeria is blessed with natural, mineral, and human resources. But our problem has been the mismanagement of these resources over the years. And it has been a continuum. From one successive administration to the other, we have experienced continuous spillage of our common patrimony. We have experienced wastage of our resources. We have experienced neglect of the human capital that God has blessed us with. We need a leader, a politician that understands what it is to utilize the human capital that we have in this country, to utilize our population. A country of over 200 million citizens, of which majority of these citizens are active young people, youth in their active years, but they are wasting away. They are lying idle because successive governments have all failed to utilize in our youth, have all failed to create an enabling environment of which the youth of this country can thrive. The talk about this coalition is highly welcome, is needed, as long as they will put their heads together to give Nigerians a president that understands what it means to create wealth, a president that understands what it means to move Nigeria from a consumption-based economy to a production-based economy. With a population of over 200 million citizens, there is no reason why Nigeria cannot be an industrial hub. There is no reason why Nigeria cannot be export-driven oriented. There is no reason why Nigeria cannot afford to feed herself. There is no reason why Nigeria should be suffering inflation. There is no reason why Nigeria should be regarded or tagged as the poverty capital of the world. This is absolute failure that we have experienced over the years. The time for that change is now. 2027. Nigerians will ensure that they put an end to this political rascality that is going on in this country. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.